Welcome to A Black Woman's Wisdom, where we celebrate our victories loudly. We share our failures as lessons learned, and we give our journeys the utmost honor and respect. We have a very special episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about imposter syndrome. But just so you don't have to hear my opinion, although I find it highly educated, I feel that some people disagree with me. I have two mental health therapists here to tell you the real behind it, okay? So I have Camille and I have Nicole, but why don't you guys introduce yourself for our guests?
Hi, my name is Camille Greer. I've been a therapist for many, many years. I'm a cognitive behavioral solution focused therapist. So what that is that I look at the way that what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and through the solution focused part of it is how we're going to change some behaviors. I've been in business for several years, and I'm just glad to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Nicole.
And I am Nicole Williams. I am a licensed mental health therapist and licensed substance abuse therapist in Virginia and in Nevada. And I specialize in anxiety, depression, and trauma. I am also a transformational coach, helping women renew their minds and monetize their ideas. So I've been in business for over 20-something years. We'll say 20-something years. And that's what I do.
All right, so clearly we brought out the heavy hitters and the professionals for today. So I just want to start with imposter syndrome. I feel like that's a term we hear on social media a lot. That's where a lot of people first heard it. And it's like gaslighting, like narcissism. We can have an idea of what it is, but very few people are actually clear on what it truly is. So if you guys want to start by clarifying what that term really is for us.
You want to go?
Oh, okay. Well, imposter syndrome, defined, I guess you can say, is when you have the ability to do things, but you don't feel like you deserve it, or you don't feel like you can do it based on any old factors, and it shouldn't be you, and you're not worthy. Basically, that's basically what I think imposter syndrome is, or how I deal with it with people.
And she's absolutely right. It is you wanting to do something, and perhaps something in the back of your mind is saying you shouldn't be here. You're not equipped to do this, and then it may be somebody in front of your face telling you that, and so that just feeds it more.
So we're finally giving a name to my inner critic, because she be loud sometimes. I mean, like for real, that's her. They said it's that when someone or something telling you that you cannot do something, or you're not qualified, or essentially you're not enough,
right,
for whatever task it is. Okay, so what are different ways you've seen this show up in people?
Dealing with so many different types, because I'm licensed in 5 states. So it literally shows up differently based off the location that I'm working in. And it really, yes. So, I would say in Georgia, I have a lot of, single women who want relationships, and in those relationships, that imposter syndrome shows up. And I don't think people realize, like, you're saying, I want this, but then in the back of your mind, you don't deserve it. And so you're not really standing truthfully in that relationship, because in essence, you don't feel like you deserve it. And so that may come from outside too, from outside people saying things, and it just sticks in your mind. So it's almost like you're an imposter in a relationship, and you don't ever really get to that authentic moving forward self. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I also agree that I see it a lot when I'm working with people, and that they don't feel like they deserve to be better. Like I don't like to use the word better. They don't deserve to be different.
Yeah. Or
they'll say, well, I've been working at this job, and so that's what I do. And I'm like, you can do more, right? And they don't think that whatever they even have going on is worth going forward. And I'm like, you can use that for something else. And they're like, really? Me? Yes, you. Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. And I see that a lot when people compare themselves to people, because they think because somebody else is doing something that they either want to do or they think is great, that person is the only way to do it, when they can do something similar in a different way. But they don't trust their own creativity.
They don't trust it. And you are absolutely right. One of the things that I tell my clients all the time is it's not apples for apples. Like, you cannot compare yourself to this person in entirety because it's not 100% the same. The situations, the circumstances, that how they got there, you don't know their backstory. So for you to sit in that and then say you cannot move forward and you feel like an imposter because you didn't get and it doesn't look like someone else.
Oh yeah,
is so telling. But it's very challenging for people to first stop comparing themselves to someone else.
And I always tell my line is comparison ultimately results in calamity. All the time. Comparison results in calamity. What are we doing?
Well, so I'm shocked to hear that it shows up differently in different regions, which has me thinking here about societal expectations in different regions. You mentioned Georgia, which generally tends to be more family oriented than more so than the West Coast, where we may be more focused on careers or professional things of that nature. Generally speaking, don't come for me in the comments. There tends to be that there, so that will be how it shows up. But it makes me think too, how much of it is started from such a very, very young age when you're in school and grades are compared, right? Because, and for me in high school, in the academy I went to, that was the thing. You had to perform. It wasn't better than the last time you performed. It's better than the person next to you. You competed for everything. I competed for first chair in violin. You compete for choir. You compete. Everything from day one is a competition. And then college, especially if they're working off that stupid bell curve, it doesn't matter how well you perform, you still may not get the grade that you've actually earned. You should have, which can lead to feelings of it's just not going to happen or I'm not good enough. And then, of course, you go into, for those of us who are unfortunate to go into corporate America, that's not built on meritocracy as they try to tell us.
Been there, did that.
Like the harder you work, the more you're shooting yourself in the foot.
And and I even think starting with middle school, when those standardized testing starts. When standardized testing starts, it's the score has to be, within its range and this range. And that makes other students feel, like you said, compared to the next one. And it is region to region. I know growing up and my family's from, the country, their education over there is so much better, so much better that my mom wanted us to get educated there and not in the United States because they are advanced. Like my little cousins, they're like super advanced, way more than here. So their thoughts about what they can do so they won't feel like they have imposter syndrome is, I can do that. Like that's easy kind of thing. Whereas that might be their thoughts, but then the culture has a say because it's then what can you afford? What can you, who do you have to jump hoops through? Who do you have to talk to? What government do you have to go through? Whereas over here, now that's different. Now we do have an advantage over certain things. And so that makes the imposter syndrome even more because then you have to think who do I have to go up against and is it worth it?
Right, because if I can't compete on grades, I guarantee you my shoes are going to be better than yours.
Exactly.
Then we're going to have that issue. My clothes, my shoes, my hair. You don't have the latest. You ain't up on this. You don't know about this.
Yeah.
If you did not have the latest cassette tape CD back in
oh my gosh.
If you wasn't wearing, depending on where you live, if you didn't have the Raiders jacket. If you didn't have certain things, then you weren't it. You were not enough. And it made you a target for the bullying. And so.
Yeah. But bullying is big.
But that's exactly what they're experiencing now, but it's just with social media. So where our parents, you could come home and say, okay, well, they have this shoe or they had more kind of insight as to what was going on and what you may not have.
And what was their response? Just because they got it, they don't know what this house. Did they jump off a bridge? Are you going to jump off a bridge? But now it's like, yes, and they were doing it.
Oh gosh, we all grew up in the same household.
That's not my child. You're my child. But here, like you said, that social media, I think is the biggest. Yeah. It's the best and the worst thing, I think, invented because it does make people put themselves in places they shouldn't be because you're not even supposed to be there, which makes imposter syndrome even greater because I want to be her. I want to be.
And not a version of her, but I want to be her, which is completely different than I want to have like your shoes or because you can obtain that. I want to be this person. So then that completely negates who you are as a person.
And let me ask you this, going from state to state, because I'm in 2 states and you're in 5, do you hear that sometimes because, I didn't notice them when I moved here, but people said I have an accent. So I guess they say I do. I didn't realize it. We're East Coasters. We got an accent, and I didn't really think that was a thing. I was thinking you got an accent, but I guess I do. But some people even change their accents when they go somewhere so they can fit in. And I guess I just didn't because I didn't know even how to do that. I say Aunt Jemima. I don't say Aunt Jemima. I say car, not Cora. Like I don't, so it's certain things I just don't say. And I think a lot of people feel, what do you think? People feel that like I need to be somebody different based on where I go or
based off of the environment. And especially in corporate America. Like, yeah. It is mind-boggling. I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah, Erin can speak to corporate America, y'all, because I dipped out of there. I dipped out of there about 20 years ago.
I think I will say for many people, corporate America is the longest, most toxic relationship that a lot of us have because we are forced. Corporate America does not work off of the best worker. They work from a standpoint of complicity. So we change who we are, whether it's our accent, our hair. We have to have a law that allows us to wear our natural hair. We know exactly how toxic that is. I've had Zoom calls where prior to that, we were not using cameras. And then I had someone of a higher up in the C-suite say, "Oh, I didn't know you were Black," was the very first thing they said when my camera came on.
Oh, wow.
So I had someone say to my face in person, he's from 70-something-year-old man from Boston, that, "Oh, I didn't know you were Black." And I said, "Well, it's a good thing my color does not affect my ability to do math."
Wow.
Which is different for us because our profile is on there.
Right. Our profile is that they know what they're getting. They see us at face value.
Yes. You signed on for this. Yeah. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Which explains why imposter syndrome is also so prevalent, because for those of us in corporate America still, the last time I checked, the light company, the mortgage company, the rent company does not care about how things, but they want their money. In order to get paid, then you have to comply. So it's hard to comply for a minimum of 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and not actually start to change on that fundamental level who you are.
Yeah, I agree with that, or fight against it, because our client's been many, many years, and we've been through many jobs, and she's now at the point because she had so much energy and super smart, but none of it was really acknowledged. And so now she's angry. And so you get on the screen and your face is angry, and that all of those stereotypes we will talk about later on.
Right, come on.
It comes out. So just having her not lose herself, not feel like she is an imposter every day that she works, because she knows who she is. Yeah. But to work with them, it feels so inauthentic. And trying to make sure that there's still part of her being shown every day, but in a way in which it's not off-putting these people who are on hyper alert for any type of shift.
Yes, because the microaggressions are constant and real. So then let me ask you this then. What do you recommend? What helps? Because again, I'm in corporate America and I work a lot. And I work for a global company, which does help because it's not just the word diversity being used. We do actually see it. There's as always room for improvement, but work with India, work with Australia. So I see there are certain, and it helps me to see the American culture in a different light as well. Yeah. And we are, let me tell y'all, we
something else.
We are definitely a different than other cultures. But seeing that, and then seeing, of course, the difference between just the gender differences and within cultures and how we have to act, because depending on who and what team I'm dealing with really determines how I approach the situation, right? Not just how I approach it, but what I say. And even if I know I'm going to get acknowledged because the dynamics of the culture I'm speaking with may not really have a high regard for females, let alone one a melanated female. Yeah. And that does affect my ability to be able to do my job sometimes. So how do you guys work with clients, and what do you recommend when it comes to not just with corporate America, but in general? Because
I was going to say that
with our families, right? The holidays are coming around, so what's going to happen? All the things that I've been working on all year to be the best possible me. People who haven't seen me are going to come challenge me and I'm acting some type of
like, who are you? And that was, I'm glad you said that. That was going to be my segue into what do we do? Because when you said even families, I think it's important to understand that we're not, just because we don't work for corporate America anymore, we're no different when it comes to imposter syndrome. I experience it myself. Even, my good friend Erin here had to check me one time on a good walk on a mountain. And she did. And I didn't even know I was doing it. And I think when you said, what do we do? I think one thing for me is to remember that I'm no better. They're no better. We're all on the same playing field when it comes to knowing who we are. That is your own responsibility. And like you said, downplaying it, I have to also remember that there's things that I think that, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be listening to me. I just messed up last year and doing that. So who am I to tell somebody that they can do that? Or listen to family who's like, that's just Nicole making a bunch of noise. She always talking. When really people pay me to do this. Yeah, I am always talking. So, but it's because maybe I wasn't doing that, growing up. It was just, you talk too much. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, now when I'm around families, maybe I shouldn't. But I do get paid to do this. People do really want to hear. Yeah. And I think showing other clients that we work with that it's possible, not just because you are who you are, or not because I am who I am, but because we are people who have minds and can do that. It's not a comparison thing, so that means that you also need to look within yourself and see who's benefiting from the things that you think you can do. If you can go ahead and tell me a few people who are already benefiting, then don't tell me you're an imposter. If you're already helping people and you're doing it for free or, I do this and people just ask me. Yeah. Okay, well then you're not an imposter.
But it takes a long. It's taken me quite a few years to get to the point of just that acceptance that the things that I do have to offer.
I'm 49. I'm still on the ladder,
and
I'm looking. I'm still looking sometimes.
And because it doesn't, although you know what you're doing, when I sit down and think about all of the things that I have done or I'm doing now, I don't mention half of what I do.
Right,
and I don't. That's something that I'm working on now. Now I'm saying it a little bit louder because I felt like I was an imposter. Like, should I be here? Should I
be telling everybody I do this and do that? Or should I ask for this?
Yes.
Right.
And so now I say, oh, no. This is what my
That's the price.
Is.
That's the price.
And then I understand if you cannot.
You are not my client.
But I'm not going to move from you. There are some special occasions.
Yeah.
But I would be like, well, this is it. And then they would say it was too much. And then I would be like, okay, well, I'll take this. And never walking away mad, but just disappointed.
I've done that before.
And, yeah.
I love that. You know what? I don't know what you all heard, but I heard two really good things, which is number one, name your accomplishments. I don't care if it's once a week, once a quarter, where you sitting there, you standing in the mirror, you're writing it down, but name your accomplishments. Yeah. I remember one time I did that, and I have to tell you, there's two things that occurred to me. Number one, I realized I am that one. Yes. But it also gave validity to the fact that I was tired. I was feeling, as I was going through the season, feeling very tired and I wasn't accomplishing anything. Well, I was validly tired because I actually had just done a lot, but I didn't recognize it. And so that actually I realized was very disrespectful to myself as well, to not recognize what I'm doing. And the other thing I'm hearing is when you get around people, whether it's one thing or you have that good friend, get somebody that's going to remind you who you are, because that inner voice, she gets very loud because she's been there since we were young.
Super loud.
And she, at this point, she knows me so well. She knows exactly what to say in less than 2 seconds to get me into a certain mindset, right? That I can have to fight to get out of. But what's the most helpful is that I have friends who are going to tell me, I have children who are my biggest supporters and biggest cheerleaders for anything. And then too, even when it comes to social media, being aware enough of when I need to change my newsfeed. Because if I find myself constantly comparing and I find myself
I
trying
quickly,
to be a reflection of everything that I like and admire on social media instead of the qualities of those things, then that's a problem in me, right? So I need to change my feed to something just more inspirational, positive. I don't care if it's that flower blue, sometimes I need that.
I've deleted some people off of the feed, not because whatever it did in me, and I feel it. And I say, maybe I shouldn't be, looking at this that much. Or I find myself saying, well, how did they do that? Like, no. I can't talk to you right now. I need to get off this feed. I can't listen to you. And that's just something I had to start doing and then removing, things that I thought was
what that does is you're working on your insight. Like there was something that triggered some kind of response. That when we work with people with imposter syndrome, when you look for like, what is there's a response that's being triggered,
Right.
but it's so buried under so many different things.
No, we don't know
You
that's
don't
what's
know.
going on.
You don't know
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
Yeah.
You can ask me
That's what
10
it was.
times and I'm still going to give you the wrong answer because I literally, there are times when I did, when I came to realize what was going on, I realized how blind I was. Because first of all, it's so obvious to me now. And I really had to go through hell and hot water to get to this place. But then you ask again and I'm like, I didn't realize how blind I was to that. And we don't understand a lot of times what our triggers are, right?
Right.
We don't understand completely what's going on. And so it makes it hard to acknowledge because I didn't think it was imposter syndrome. I literally felt I was completely unqualified.
Mhm.
You could not talk me out of it. I was not enough. It doesn't matter. Fill in the blank. If you said it, I'm co-signing it. You're right. I'm not enough.
And and I used to do the same thing, Erin. I used to think, well, maybe I'm just not enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. But, however, now that is fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell me that is fear is fuel to fulfillment. I got a slogan for everything, but fear is fuel to fulfillment. And fear stands for facing every area of reality. That is my acronym for fear. So for me, now, when you tell me I can't, I am 1,000% going to prove that I can. Just because you said I could.
You know what did it for me? Honestly, corporate America, realizing we've all had a manager or two. We have no idea how they got there. So if they can be there with that title and make them, I know for daggone sure, at least on this one thing, I'm 100% certain that I do know a more efficient way. Then yes, I can.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Because we all know people in positions, whether be it corporate America, be it politics and the government, who should not be in positions that they are in.
Right.
And so you're managing your manager, and people don't understand really what that
managing the manager.
And keeping your feelings out of it as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because you're mad. Like, I'm mad. I'm irritated. I know you're a dummy.
Right.
And then I have to come.
Working from home has been the best thing. I'll be on the other side.
Yeah, a friend said for a moment, you big dummy.
I know you're a dummy. And everybody around you, but you're the manager. So how do you keep yourself and your self-worth and esteem and all of that, having to work with somebody like that, who in essence, in one email can sabotage your
whole career? Yeah.
Yep. And you know how we do that? We have to keep reminding ourselves, and it's creating a plan. You have to know when to create an exit strategy in anything.
But
right?
even with this climate right now, I just went through several layouts with this, apparently October is the month.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many clients being downsized, separated.
Yes.
So it must have been fiscal year end.
Yes.
I did not know that. So I
didn't know that either. I've had plenty. Yep.
Here, because coming up to it, I was like, oh my God, this one. And what do you say? Because now if your job was your identity, even if you hated it,
right? It still was your identity at the time.
Yeah, because my job, my identity is wrapped up. I realized when my identity is wrapped up in my output, the work that I do, and then I'm constantly working to improve that while simultaneously being told it's not enough, and then you finally get the axe. That's devastating. Not just I lost a job, I lost a good sense of who I am as a person. And we're coming up on holiday time. Y'all may as well just count me out for a while.
Right.
I'm going to be on your roster for a while as a client. Just understand that. That's how that's
and you're right. A lot have been downsized. I've had a few clients who've been downsized, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Like out of the blue, just one had just gotten a promotion the week before.
And then it'll just go down the list.
Yeah.
From one week to the next, I'd be praying, like, please let him have a job next week.
Yeah.
Because it's
it's devastating.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Well, we're pulling for it. Like it's as I get older, understanding the pendulum and how things go. Right. And sometimes you just have to wait things out. And also as I get older, it's literally creating the exit plan. Is going for that additional degree. It's doing what I can to create multiple streams of income.
Right.
And it's understanding that my network truly is my network, because it does come down to who you know. You know, when they start hiring, if you know recruiters or know such and such, you have a better chance than just someone else. Right.
Yeah.
So it's things of that nature. But keep in mind, really vocalize your accomplishments. You know, check your news feeds on your social media, because that's really important as well. And then of course it's
get around good people.
Around the right people. The right people that's gonna encourage you and know your personality. For me, sometimes you have to grab me up and ask me, what the heck? do I think I'm doing? So get people that know you, and that's going to speak in your language
Right.
to get you to where you need to be.
And learn to celebrate yourself. The small things.
Celebrate and all the wins. All the wins.
Like I got up and exercise. I didn't this morning. But if I did, that's a celebrate.
But if I did.
So the small things.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to, I have to bring people back from the end.
Yeah.
We're right here, right now. You got up and you came to the session.
Right.
We're gonna
And don't compare yourself. I think that is
Which
the
means
biggest.
relaxing on our list, because there's always something more to do, which is why we tend to forget to celebrate the small things. But I love that reminder because I could use that. And I did get up this morning and go for a run.
I did too. I did 2 miles before I came.
Oh, we're celebrating. Yes. Well, I did this. This is my first time. So
Yeah.
You're doing some amazing
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Okay, good. So thank you so much for joining us. You guys follow them, engage. They have so much knowledge and wisdom, and they have the professional point of view that goes, beyond pop psychology, right? Because we love social media. We love what we're learning and access to it, but sometimes we need to we need to shift in perspective to understand what's truly going on. But before we leave, we cannot let you ladies leave without doing our very special ending, which is I need you guys to tell me one thing that you love today about being a Black woman.
Oh.
I know it's a lot.
Oh, that was heavy.
But that's why we just need one thing. One thing you love today. First of all, I love this color on you.
I know.
I love we can do it.
That's why it's like in the middle. Goes the weasel.
Well, what I will say is, I'm doing the line of Black Girl Baggage, and that is all about celebrating Black women in a healthy way. So we're taking the stereotypes and we are reversing those stereotypes. So for me, the strength, but in a way that it's not that you're aggressive, that you're angry, but that you're
the true innate strength of who we are.
Right. Because you have to have it.
Not that bastardized version that people are trying to capitalize on, right?
Yes.
I love it.
That's mine today.
I love that true strength that we have, and that's sometimes quiet, right? Okay.
And I like the fact that I like to turn that around when people say, "Oh, angry Black woman." I said, "No. I'm an assertive advocator. I'm not an angry Black woman. As a Black woman, I use my voice to be an assertive advocator, which means I have the confidence, the power, and the authority to say how I feel, what I mean, and what I'm going to accept." So as a Black woman, not taking it on as an offense, I think it's a good thing to be a Black woman who can say, but I'm assertive enough to have a voice.
Yes.
And that, my friends, is not an imposter because she says she has the authority.
Absolutely.
That's the position we want to come from. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I really loved it. I really hope you guys come back. There is so much to talk about. I can tell.
I mean, if you want us to come back, because, we might do a little damage next time. We try to get a little nice on y'all today.
We're going to have some real conversations here soon. We're going to have those Patreon conversations, you guys. So look out for that, where we're telling nothing but we'll be nice about it.
Yes.
We'll be polite about it.
We'll
but
be
the truth is the truth, right? Okay, we love you guys. And until next time, remember, a Black woman's wisdom, ignore it at your own risk. Bye.
I like that. Thank you.